narrative, and I would argue it's a false narrative of dominance of the APC in Lagos State. In questioning that, we have to interrogate the numbers.
I'm not talking about APC alone. I'm talking about its closest challenges in the past race, and also the what they call the obedience at this time.
No. So what I'm saying is that look, in this election, we're going to see a substantial increase in voter turnout. And we believe that when you see a substantial increase in voter turnout, remember that Lagos has had the lowest voter turnout nationwide at about 15%. The national average, as you know, is about 30%. When you have a large increase in voter turnout, the outcome is determined by where that large increase determines to pitch its tent. And so we argue that it's unlikely that this large tent will be pitched for the ruling party, because many of these will come out in opposition to the ruling party. And we believe that as a challenger with a strong track record, with a strong history of personal integrity, with the character and the competence to bring to the office, that we are in a very strong position when people make that choice to determine who will govern them for the next 4 years.
All right, let's move on to, the meat of the matter. In terms of the administrative interventions you intend to make, can we have a sneak peek at the sectors or the key sectors you see as priority?
So there are a number. The first I will start with, and we have something we call a tiger agenda for Lagos, but I will start with the foundation, which is government reform, which is reform of the government and the public sector. We believe that this is something that is fundamental for Lagos State in particular, in addition to the rest of the country, but Lagos State in particular. What do we mean by this? First, we will ensure that public workers are well compensated, and then we will insist, having addressed the issue of compensation, we will insist that any holder of public office, whether as a civil servant or as a political office holder, must hold that office to the benefit of the people, must act with integrity, must act with accountability. We will strengthen the Attorney General's office. We will strengthen the instruments of surveillance, of enforcement, of audit, and we will prosecute people where necessary. We will hold ourselves as leaders to the same standard, and we will hold ourselves to the same requirements that we expect of our people. This way, we believe we will move the actions of government in line with the interests of the people, and we believe that decisions of government will better reflect those things that are needed to improve the quality of life of the average Lagosian.
What has been the response? Okay. Have you made a point? So that I can move to one or two other questions. What has been the response since you began this journey, discussing with people, talking about your agenda, and what has been the response so far?
I think the response has been great, and that is because people understand and feel instinctively the absence of government of the people, for the people, and by the people. What they've seen more in Lagos is government of the people, by some people, for themselves. When people consider their quality of life, whether it is having to spend 5 hours in traffic every day for many people, whether it is in the substandard care they get from health institutions, whether it's in the declining quality of products coming out of our educational system, whether it's the infrastructure, which is very challenged in Lagos, transportation, water, waste. People understand that the reason why their quality of life is the way it is because of the quality of governance that they've enjoyed over time.
If we look at least one of the things,
why you are saying
if we look at one of the things, you've just spoken about, perhaps a few people may be watching and may be in traffic. How do you intend to settle that? How do you intend to solve that?
Coastal city, and not just is it a coastal use of. One of the quick wins that we can bring quickly is to increase the use of the waterways. And how will we do this? We pick a few key routes, and we ensure that we have robust alternatives, vessels that people feel comfortable with, feel safe on, to traverse on those key routes. That will decongest some of the key routes that are bottlenecks. No, Lagos has been on a rail project for almost 15 years. We believe that this is unacceptable. We do not see a lot of transparency around this. We will come in and ensure that the decisions that need to be made, people who need to be held accountable are held accountable, and that what needs to be delivered is delivered within a short period of time. And beyond that, that we expand the rail network, again, amongst key routes to ensure that we have a working rail infrastructure. But finally, on this issue of traffic, which you raised, one of the important things which I think people do not pay sufficient attention to is the fact that even the existing road infrastructure in Lagos is not well utilized. There's a lot of chaos and disorder of the roads in Lagos. And part of that is because we have, in many cases, people who are acting lawlessly on the streets. If you talk to people, as I do, going across the local governments in Lagos, talking to the people, and I did that last week, and tomorrow again, I'm going to a couple more local governments. People complain all the time. The question of agberos in Lagos, the question of touts, the question of the activities of these agents of disorder, as I call them, on the roads in Lagos, is a big contributor to the traffic situation that we see in Lagos. And we think that you need a government to come in who is not beholden to these forces, who can act decisively to curb their menace.
Finally, before I let you go, speak to health very quickly, if you can.
So health is an important thing. It's one of our cardinal pillars. Our focus on health is what I call a barbell. We have a barbell approach to it. We're going to emphasize two things: primary health on the one hand, and emergency healthcare on the other. We think that these are the two areas where we have gaps in our system. In the middle, which is where you have chronic healthcare, we believe that we do a reasonably good job, because there you have time, and you can basically take your time in making the decisions that you need to. So in Lagos, we will ensure that people are health seeking. And how do we make people health seeking? By ensuring that the care that they get when they walk into a government health facility is in fact care. It's not so much about the equipment, it's not so much about the buildings. It is about the processes, the people, how are they remunerated, how are they monitored, how are they supervised, how do you monitor the quality in those institutions? We will do that, and we will ensure that people, when a mother, for example, has a child who has a fever, she doesn't think twice before taking that child very quickly to a health facility before that situation gets more serious. That's primary health care. On the emergency health care, we believe that critical care is an important element. It is a lacking element in Lagos. The government will partner with the private sector and invest, if necessary, to ensure that Lagos, which, by the way, is not a very large geographical area, has key emergency facilities at crucial areas across the state, such that we are not losing life that could easily be saved by quick intervention. And these two elements of the barbell will form the center of our health strategy.
All right, before I let you go, I need to ask, this is interesting. I don't take it as some kind of patronage. You have this preppy Ajabota look. Have you been able to reach out to, the grassroots per se, and get their buy-in? You've spoken so eloquently on the program, but have you been able to reach down and, get their buy-in on this project?
So you suppose come with me when I go campaign. I go tomorrow. Maybe you will come join me.
All right, so Mr. Doherty, it's been lovely.
I'll get here on Sunday, so come with me and we'll do it together.
All right, so we will reach you again in the course of your efforts and wish you the very best. That's Mr. Funsho Doherty of ADC in Lagos. Let's move on now. With the Electoral Act 2022 in place, there is hope for the outcome of the 2023 general elections. That is, will reflect the will of the citizens. Chairman Interparty Advisory Council, Yabagi Sani, said this when a delegation from ECOWAS pre-election fact-finding mission visited him in the council in Abuja recently.
An ECOWAS delegation on the fact-finding mission on Nigeria's preparedness ahead of the 2023 polls. Former chairman of Ghana Electoral Commission for 22 years, Kwado Afarikian, led the delegation. Here, the team is interfacing with the umbrella body of all political parties to ensure politics is played according to the rules, because Nigeria is Africa's image at the global stage.
Dialogue among yourself dialogue with the election commission. And if you go and ask something to be done, just make sure that a lot of the parties agree that it will be done. And then you must have reasons why it should be done.
IPAC Chairman Yabagi Yusuf Sani restated the Council's commitment to credible elections and urged ECOWAS to continue to show interest to ensure that the elections were free and fair.
As IPAC, we're happy that INEC is doing quite a lot in terms of bringing to bear all that is required to ensure that we have credible, peaceful, reliable, and all-inclusive elections by way of digitalizing the process and by our own commitment. They have shown that they are ready to give their all to ensure that the outcome of this election is something that not only Nigeria, but Africa as a continent will be proud of.
The Council promised genuine collaboration with other stakeholders towards a better election.
The Labour Party this week released a comprehensive campaign council list to organize its presidential campaign. The 1,453-member council retains former senior special assistant on public affairs to President Goodluck Jonathan, Dr. Doyin Okupe, as Director General, Mohamed Zarewa as chairman, and Party Organizing Secretary Clement Ojukwu as Campaign Council Secretary.
This campaign council, no doubt, will be leading the presidential campaigns. And we are very confident that Nigerians will support us because we have the best of programs. We parade men of integrity, we parade men of dignity, and we believe that we have what it takes to be able to win the election and then provide a leadership for the country that will be able to change the narratives of the country.
The Tinubu-Shettima presidential ticket is receiving more support from the party faithful at the state level. A solidarity walk and a rally recently held in Ogbomoso, Oyo State, to canvass support for the APC presidential candidate.
Attended by party faithfuls across the 5 local government areas of Ogbomoso, the Tinubu-Shettima rally began at the Randa residence of the late Alao Akala and was terminated at Ojagbo. Chairman of the All Progressive Congress in Oyo State, Isaac Omodewu, said the rally has shown that the party's candidates will be re-elected to bring in more progress to the state and country.
This economy, it doesn't affect only Nigeria alone, but different the whole countries in the world. Our president and his cabinet, they are doing their best. That is why we are saying that we should continue by giving the baton to our next president, inshallah, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Candidates of the All Progressive Congress contesting in the forthcoming general election noted that Tinubu-Shettima presidency would chart a progressive course for the nation.
The purpose of this rally is to flex muscle. We're not going to mess around with that. We want to flex muscle. We have a good product to sell in Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's what it's all about. We flexed our muscle in Ibadan. We'll flex our muscle here again, and we'll keep on flexing it until we win the election.
We want to show to the whole world that Ogbomoso zone is for APC. Nothing more, nothing less.
We gathered here this morning to work for Tinubu-Shettima. And what is happening here in Ogbomoso today is unprecedented. By the special grace of God, Tinubu is winning.
The party candidates are...
Meanwhile, APC members in the Northwest have resolved to wade into the face-off between the party and some aggrieved aspirants in some states in the zone and ensure that there's unity of purpose ahead of the 2023 general elections.
The meeting convened at the instance of zonal leadership of the party was held behind closed doors and was chaired by the National Vice Chairman Northwest Salu Lukman. It was learned that the meeting dwelt on issues relating to electioneering campaigns at state and zonal levels.
All our state chairmen are much more anxious to commence the work. They are ready. They are quite ready. And from the report we have received, our members in all the states are also quite anxious, waiting for the campaign to commence.
Participants also noted with concern the ongoing litigations instituted by aggrieved aspirants in some states in the aftermath of the primary elections.
We believe the first thing is to take the necessary step to unite ourselves, to ensure that we forge a strong unity in the zone.
Leaders of the party in the Northwest also resolved to work assiduously to ensure APC win in all elections next year.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, says it is equipping its candidates with requisite knowledge to position them for election victory next year.
Gathered here in Abuja are governorship, senatorial, House of Representatives and state houses of assembly candidates from across the country. Leadership dynamics for winning elections in Nigeria is the major agenda here.
And as we are moving, consulting during this campaign, I want you to please take note in every ward you visit, or every federal constituency you visit, or every zone you visit. Take note and ask for their one or two necessary needs that will make the community happy, that will make the ward happy, that will make that federal constituency happy or that zone happy. Just take note.
Participants believe that every polling unit, ward, local government and state has its own peculiarity, and it is imperative that they are understood before elections.
Well, we are aspiring to be leaders of our various states and the nation as a whole. So we are teaching ourselves the critical lessons, what we should know before even assume that office.
We should be able to understand the dynamics of the security in our various constituencies. That will guide us on how to go on our various campaign policies. And secondly, we need to engage, we need to know the data of various polling units.
They, however, promised to remain loyal to constituted authorities.
Timothy Yusuf report concludes political update today. Keep a date with us, of course, next week, again Tuesday, when we'll come bright and early to give you political news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Stay with the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's finest and best, as we move towards the crucial date. We're hoping that this weekend, again, as you go about your duties and, of course, your politics, play your politics for the greater good. Bye-bye now.